I feel like one thing that we can all agree on, especially at this stage in our lives, is that if it costs you your peace, it's too expensive. Whether that's a person, whether that's an environment, or anything that puts you in a position to question or to feel uneasy about anything that you may have going on. 2025 is approaching. We're roughly, 2 days, a day away. And I feel like this year we have to be more intentional with where we're putting our energy and the energy that we're allowing into our lives. Out of all the things you may want to change this year, I feel like one of the main ones that you should focus on is just learning how to be selfish for once. As crazy as that may sound, it's necessary in order for you to break through and reach new stages. You cannot bring everyone with you. You cannot do for everybody while you're trying to grow and build your foundation. Just think about it like this. If you go out right now and you bruise your arm or you get a cut or whatever the case may be, if you don't allow that cut or bruise to properly heal and you keep picking at it, it's going to forever be fragile. It's going to be forever something that hasn't fully healed. And the same thing applies to your life in this growth journey. How can you help anybody if you can't even properly help yourself? How are you trying to save people when you aren't even saved yet? It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to put yourself first for once. And this was one of my biggest challenges. And truthfully, even into this point, it really still is because, the people that we have around us, we do our best to try to drag them along or to try to, keep them in the same position that we're at. When we grow or when we achieve something in our lives, we make those around us a part of it. So we all feel as if we're reaching that form of success. But I'm here to tell you today that we do not have the energy to be doing that no more. We do not have the time to continue to try to carry along people that just aren't on the same level as us. You don't have to hate somebody to outgrow them. And I feel like this strictly just ties into self-love, because when you love and you value yourself seriously to the point where, nothing's going to get in the way of your overall health and success, you always put yourself first. People pleasing is hardly ever an option. Trying to do for everybody when you're not taken care of, it is never an option. And the way that I like to look at it, I've been spending my whole life trying to string people along and trying to not necessarily string them along, but just having everybody in my inner circle. So if I accomplish something, everyone's a part of it. And truth be told, it hasn't really done anything. People have just held me back. People expressed opinions that really didn't matter, and it made me question my overall abilities. So this year we have to be really selfish. We have to really put ourselves first and learn and understand that, just because you may love somebody does not mean that they need to be around. Just because they've been around does not mean that they need to continue to be around. It's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to live this life like it's your life and only your life, because that's exactly what it is. Don't listen to the outside opinions when you start growing and, oh, they switched up and they start acting funny, because at the end of the day, if they were in your position, they would probably move the exact same way. When you outgrow somebody, the only thing left to do is move on. If you keep yourself in that same position, all it'll do is hold you back. Just think about anybody that has reached a point of success. Like celebrities, they don't stay in their same neighborhoods. They don't stay in those same environments with those same people once they reach that true point of, happiness and success that they wanted to reach. They remove themselves because they understand that not only those people, but that environment does not have a direct impact on the success that they're chasing or they may want to reach. And I really want to touch up on this because I feel like this is so many people's problems. But even if you're in a relationship, whether it's been 10 years, 5 months, if it's something that you feel like you're truly stuck and attached to, understand that if it is not bringing you peace and true happiness, that you do not need to be there. And you are selling yourself short, wasting your time, allowing your stuff to get deeper and deeper into this hole where it's going to be eventually even harder for you to walk away. The more time that you invest, the more energy that you invest, the more resources that you invest into somebody, the harder it's going to be to walk away, especially if they are not providing you peace. If that person is doing for you, if that person loves you and they respect you and they're showing all of these things based on their actions, then so be it. And that's probably where you should be at. But if you're not getting the love that you know that you deserve, and a lot of the times we all understand what we feel like is worthwhile as far as longevity. If we choose to stay with somebody that's unhealthy, we're just doing that because we may have attachment issues, or people may not necessarily know how to move on. But at some point, you have to grow up. At some point, you have to really put yourself first and understand that you are doing more harm to yourself in the long run by choosing to stay. You know, this person may not bring you peace. You know, this person may not be, compatible with you, or they may not necessarily be right. So you have to take that in and really learn how to move on. There's certain things that are complete deal breakers, and especially just being young, we tend to overlook and ignore these things, unless you really learn self-respect growing up. But things like, disrespect, things like abuse, things like cheating, these things are almost impossible to overcome in a relationship and still be together. Once betrayal, once that disrespect and all of those things start to happen, there's almost no going back. You have to really do a lot, and you have to sacrifice a lot to ever even get back to that point where you can view each other the same way, because there's so much built up tension and resentment. And all of these things are just extremely hard to overcome. So you do yourself a huge favor by just learning how to let go. And if you haven't learned how to let somebody go yet, now may just be the time. And that's not even just relationships, but friendships. If you haven't put yourself in a position to feel what it feels like to truly lose and miss out on something that you deeply love, or someone that you deeply love, it may be time that you allow yourself to experience that. Because me personally, growing up, I never liked the concept of moving on. I never liked allowing somebody in my life and to get to know me and to build something just to let it all go. For some reason, it just never set right with me. But as I got older, I realized that, certain people come into your life to teach you something. Not everybody is meant to stay throughout the entire book. Some people are only here for a chapter. And during that chapter, you have to learn how to enjoy people in that very moment. You have to learn to appreciate each and every, second that you may have with somebody, because we know that times are really not promised. That person can do something to you tomorrow that completely jeopardizes your entire relationship or friendship, and you have to let them go. Because if you don't let them go and they see that you're okay with being violated and your respect is little to none, they're going to continue to disrespect you. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm somebody that cannot put up with no form of disrespect at all. Because I serve and I dish out respect and I demand it back. That's a requirement for me. So really just choose peace this upcoming year. I really want everybody to be on the same page and aligned, and to be living life according to their true desires, because you do not have to settle. It doesn't matter if you're 50 years old or if you're 18 years old. If you're in a position right now that does not serve you, you need to remove yourself. There is much more life for you to live. There is much more experiences for you to go through, so that you can fully expand and grow. You just have to understand and see that these things are out there. And one of the main things that used to discourage me from actually, moving on and letting people go, is just not necessarily having that abundance mindset. Me feeling like this person was the only person on the planet for me. And I feel like anybody that's in love may think the same thing, but truth be told, there's millions and millions and millions of people in this world. That is not the only person that can satisfy you. That is not the only person that can satisfy your needs, or that is going to love you. You just have to allow yourself to grow into the person that attracts the exact right person that you need in your life. But settling should never be an option. You jeopardizing and sacrificing your peace for comfort should never be an option. And if you've been doing that up until this point, 2025 is the year that you change that. This is the year that you allow yourself to be happy, because you absolutely deserve it. And anybody that's made you conform to this form of sacrificing and just living this way does not need to be around you. Because somebody that wants to see you happy is going to realize, like, I'm not good for this person. I know that I'm not in the healthiest state of mind. So I'm going to let this person go out and attract exactly what it is that they deserve. I remember one time I ran into this girl and I knew deep down in my heart that I didn't want to be with her. I knew she was a great woman. I knew she had everything just checked off on my list personally of what I consider worthwhile for longevity. But I did not want to be with her. I didn't want to be in a relationship at the time. And based on the respect that I have for myself and for this person, I had to let them go. When it was time for them to move on, I completely understood. I didn't argue. I didn't try to be selfish and fulfill my needs. I respected them enough to allow that to happen, because that's what you do when you genuinely care and you genuinely love somebody. If you cannot be what they want you to be, you have to let certain people go. Don't be selfish and drag somebody along just to fulfill your needs and to have people around you for your comfort. That's not right. And I don't think God will ever bless somebody like that. And it takes time for people to learn this, but always let people go if they're not people that you want to keep in your life, in the long run. If you know that you don't want to be with somebody, go let them be with somebody else. If you know you love and you value somebody and you respect them, then do everything in your power to keep them around, but make sure that you demand these things back. Never be in one-sided relationships, never be in one-sided friendships. And one of the golden rules to all of these things is just setting boundaries. A friendship will never last if there are not boundaries set in place. A relationship will never last if there are not boundaries set in place. But if you made it to the end of the video, I just want to say thank you so much. It's your boy Blue Jay Tay. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.